This video is going to be our first example of how to calculate the standard deviation. To do that, we're going to use the formula, the square root of the summation, that Greek letter sigma stands for summation, which just means you're going to add things together, of x minus x bar squared. X just represents each of the individual data points, and x bar represents the mean of the data. So you find that difference and square it, and then you divide it by n minus 1, where n is the number of data points. So the first thing we have to do is we have to find the mean. To do that, I'm going to add up all of my data points, and I get 160. Divide by how many there are 8 of them, which gives me 20 for my mean, and that's what we call x bar. Step 2 is to determine x minus x bar squared for each data point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by looking at my first data point, which is 15, subtract x bar, which is 20, and square it. Now, the summation part comes in. Actually, we need to have the parentheses first and then square it. And then the summation part comes in where you add all of these together. So the next one is going to be the data point 18 minus x bar, which is 20, squared, plus 24 minus 20 squared, plus 25 minus 20 squared, plus 18 minus 20 squared, plus 20 minus 20 squared, plus 21 minus 20 squared, plus 19 minus 20 squared. So there's it all written out. So now let's just simplify that a little bit and add these answers together. So if I look at each one of these individually, I'm going to end up with 5 squared. Then I'm going to have plus 2 squared. Then I'm going to do plus 4 squared. And then I'm going to do plus 5 squared. And then I'm going to do plus 2 squared. And then I'm going to do plus 0 squared. Then plus 1 squared. And plus 1 squared. Now, you'll notice that I didn't make any of these negative, and the reason why I didn't do that is because whenever you square a value, it's always going to be positive. So it doesn't really matter if you put the negatives on here. You're really just looking for the difference between those values, and then you're squaring it. When you add all those together, you're going to end up with 76. So then step 4 is to take that and divide it by n minus 1. So we have 76 divided by n minus 1. Well, n is the number of data points minus 1, so you have 76 divided by 7. And then the last step is to take the square root of that. So you're going to do the square root of 76 divided by 7, and when you do that, you're going to end up with about 3.3 as your standard deviation.